We're back here on League Unlock. Eric and Mark joining you guys today. We're looking ahead to Worlds 2018, the teams that are, the most likely to qualify, or who think we are going to qualify. Who think we are going to qualify. Who we think are going to qualify.
It's an interesting way to word a sentence.
I was just testing you guys. Mark caught on to it, so kudos to Mark. He's paying attention today.
I had my coffee today. I'm ready.
6 cups of coffee this morning. Very unhealthy, Mark. We're on to Europe now, where it's pretty self-explanatory. It's hard to argue against the top 3 right now for the representation at Worlds. First and foremost is, of course, the defending champs, Fnatic. No Reckless, no problem with them so far. The last couple of weeks, they have looked like a dominant force. Caps is on just a wrecking course, destroying everyone in EU, and he definitely looks like the best player in the Western scene.
Now, the only thing that is kind of crazy coming into this idea of Fnatic being the #1 seed heading to Worlds is that everyone would say, oh, well, the 6th member that you're bringing is going to be either Bwipo or Soaz. No.
They will be there.
The 6th member is going to be Reckless now, given what's going on and everything we've seen at this point. It is crazy to think that way, but absolutely, you have to have Fnatic as the #1 seed heading into Worlds. They've proven it with their spring split. They've proven it with their performance at MSI, a much improved international showcase compared to what they did at Worlds last year. And again, in this summer split, it's just been more of the same, clean play from Fnatic. And this is the type of team that if you're an EU fan, I want this team representing me heading into Worlds because I can feel confident in their performance.
Yeah, and that's the thing you want if you're a Western fan, is you just want your best teams. You want your best chance.
Oh, Amazing. What are you doing, buddy? Yikes.
Amazing might not be their best chance.
Amazing's not going to Worlds, I'll tell you that.
We'll maybe hint at Schalke a little bit later, but I think Fnatic going to be the big favorites. Even though Misfits had their great start to the split, I think right now Fnatic are the favorites to go. Not only go to Worlds, but go as that top seed and win back-to-back splits. Whether or not Reckless plays a game in their playoff run remains to be seen, but either way, Fnatic are the favorites.
Yeah, Caps has been so strong in that mid lane, holding out, doing what he needs to do for his team and carrying. And then the other important things you have to talk about is that you have, either Soaz or Bwipo taking over that top or bot role there.
Bot?
Doesn't matter who it is,
Victor?
They're getting it done, and they have the ability to play these mages or bruisers in that bot lane better than almost anyone else I've ever seen do this in League of Legends. So it really is quite an advantage for Fnatic.
Yeah, Bwipo's champion pool seems to be endless. Gangplank bot, Victor bot, and then you sub in Soaz for the Heimerdinger. It doesn't sound like we're talking about competitive League of Legends. The second team that obviously you've got to expect will go to Worlds for a 3rd straight year is G2. They've had some questionable losses so far in the summer split, but again, they had a 6-0 start. They've already got 70 points from last split, so you got to expect them to be back on the world stage.
Right, and so the big question here for G2 when you're really thinking about them as any type of contender is, well, is Funnel really going to be gone at this point heading into Worlds from the meta and, with the changes that Riot is trying to make sure it out?
Definitely seems like there's no way it's coming back.
And that's, it seems to be an issue for G2 because, yes, they are strong and, yes, they are able to play in, more standard type of ways and compositions to get these victories. It does seem that their absolute strength and where they totally have an advantage over everybody is in running these funnel compositions and getting perks to be more powerful than anyone else on that rift and using that advantage of a skilled, aggressive player being the one to take down the other team.
Yeah, but now that that strategy is gone, G2 has struggled a little bit. They did start 6-0, and there's 2-4 since that start. And I mean, Hjarnan has yet to play a traditional AD carry, so depending on how the meta changes, Bwipo and Hjarnan, the top 2 teams, arguably, in EU, maybe not top 2, Misfits looking better than G2 right now, but they haven't played any marksmen, so we'll see how the meta changes heading into Worlds if Riot implements some bigger changes, but just almost solely because of their 70 points from Spring Split, you got to expect G2 going in, especially if Fnatic wins again, then they're almost certainly going on points.
Yeah, and I think that when you're talking about Hjarnan's champion pool, you do have to say that, yes, the Donger looks pretty clean, but when you're talking about the rest of his champions, I don't think you can say necessarily exactly that type of phrasing there. And I think when you're talking about what you want from that G2 bot lane, you have to be expecting that it's Wadid who's going to have to be stepping it up and performing strong in these team fights as you get to the mid-later parts of the game, because he's been the one in that bot lane trying to make those advantages come through.
Yeah, I want to see some more Pike action from him out of that bot lane. The third team that are heavy favorites to go to Worlds from EU are, of course, Misfits, even though they didn't even make playoffs last split, so they got their work cut out for them. They have to either win the split or they have to run through the gauntlet because they are not winning on points. So they're going to have to win a lot of best of series, and something we haven't seen out of them. They've been dominating the best of ones, but even recently, 9-0, now they go 1-2. They got pretty handily beat down by Splice this week, but I still think this is more the team you expected to see in spring.
Yeah, this is certainly the performance from Misfits that you wanted to be seeing from them, given the performance that they had at Worlds 2017. And listen, Eric was talking to me all about that C9 pick making it out of EU, and when he talked to me about this third seed in EU here, he said, hey, it's going to be someone you're not exactly expecting. And I said, it better not be H2K. And it's not. It's Misfits.
Hey, they have 10 points. They might find themselves in the gauntlet. Maybe.
No, but when you're talking Misfits, it's going to have to be around that mid lane for them. Really, it's that Senkux and Maxilor coming through and making those advantages. Yes, everyone wants to talk about the pretty boy Hans Sama down there in the bot lane, getting work done. The Draven main here in EU, doing things nasty. But it isn't all about him. It is about Maxilor getting these advantages into Senkux's hand. And then again, as we've talked about before, the big reason why Misfits have found success in this summer split compared to spring split is that Senkux's performance. He's been able to step up and take any advantages his team is able to help him get, and he's able to turn those into even more for his team.
And Alfari is still looking like a top-tier top laner in the EU LCS. Any chance for the likes of Shulka, Vitality, Splice? Splice has some points, 50 points.
I don't know about some of those teams, but I will say that a team like Schalke or a Vitality do have some points, and they have shown some signs of strength, and that they do have a chance that if they can go on a run here towards the end, might feel a little bit more confident about picking them as the third team. But I think right now, the form that Misfits has shown and where they are and what their team is, I think you have to pick them.
Depending on how the playoffs end up playing out, Splice might only have to win one best of in the gauntlets. They might be the final boss there, but I do think Misfits are still the favorites to go through there. And the top three, Misfits, G2, and Fnatic in EU, are definitely right now looking like Europe's best chance at getting out of groups.